Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX TV in San Francisco, and Russell Jackman. And at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question and NBA Finals history.
Thank you.
Thank you. I figured we'd get a thumbs up on that one.
As long as we're talking the post-Mikan era, I think I should do all right.
Post-Mikan, yeah, that's right. The first big man. Let's see. Today, there's a few things I wanted to cover. One was Oscar De La Hoya wants to come out of retirement at age 48.
Sure, why not?
Why not, huh?
Why not?
He wants to fight Mayweather. That'll be interesting.
And we should put a disclaimer on this show, Edward, that at the time that we're recording this, we don't know the four teams in the NCAA Final Four, which is the day this show airs.
Correct.
We know a couple teams. No, a couple teams, but not the entire.
Yeah, halfway there. Yes.
Halfway there. Okay. The NFL wanting to expand to 17 games, getting a little bit of pushback on that. Baylor, first time since 1950 in the Final Four. Holy smokes. That's before.
Yeah, and it was almost the men and women.
Almost. Yeah. That no foul call. Of course, the thing is, Econ scored 19 unanswered points, so you can't put it just on that one call. However,
well, yes, you can.
If only Elgin Baylor was alive to see.
That's right. Yeah. Now the thing is, also she would have had to make free throws, but still, yeah, it was definitely it definitely should have been a foul.
And the person that was fouled, Dejanay Carrington, played for Stanford, so she's battle tested as far as NCAA championship runs, but she had completed her eligibility at Stanford, had one extra year, and she decided to play more at Baylor.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been kind of fun to have Baylor in both men's and women's in the Final Four. Very cool. Let's see. Talk a little bit about Deshaun Watson and then the 49ers with Garoppolo. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. Okay, so first of all on the list here, Oscar De La Hoya wants to come out of retirement at age 48 to fight Floyd Mayweather. First of all,
why?
I'd say what he should do is have a warm-up fight with Hulk Hogan first.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe he needs the money.
How? How?
I don't know. How's that even possible? He was a boxer, and then he was a promoter. I mean, he had his own thing, Golden Boy Productions. He had all of that. So this need to fight again. I mean, I don't get it unless they really want to get this whole geriatric boxing league going, and he wants to be a part of it.
George Foreman, didn't he box at like age 60 or something?
I don't know about 60, but
I think he was in his 50s.
Yeah, he was in an advanced age for boxing to continue on.
And it was like watching, a bag of oatmeal slowly pour out of I mean, it was not fun to watch Foreman fight.
Well, wait, his first fight comeback though, I think he won, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But
he did.
He was against a tomato can.
Okay, tomato can. Now, how old is Mayweather?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Because he's in his late 40s too.
I mean, I don't think De La Hoya would stand a chance against Mayweather, would he?
Well, on paper, but hey, it's boxing. All you need is a punch.
Yeah.
Boxing needs to focus on new young talent. They can't keep going to the well and saying, we're going to trot out guys who are, a couple of months away from getting Social Security.
Well, you got, Tyson Holyfield, that issue coming. I mean, how many people do you think would tune in for La Hoya Mayweather? I mean, I think
lots, too many.
It would still get a good pay-per-view.
Too many, and that tells you the terrible state of boxing today is that it hasn't generated any new names that anyone wants to go pay money to see.
Now, is it because MMA is getting more popular?
I think the MMA is more driven toward the younger demographic, but the older demographic, the sport of boxing, they're losing the audience because the names that we know aren't spring chickens anymore. And we don't know who these younger guys coming up are because nobody wants to promote them. And they're hardly ever on national TV so we can
That's
see 'em.
right.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So is Don King dropping the ball on this? Because he was the big.
The MMA fights every week. The MMA has fights going on every single week, and most of them are televised, and most of them are televised for free.
And I got to say too, when you watch highlights and stuff like that, MMA is more exciting. I mean, sometimes there's just they're holding and they're not doing too much. But boy, when they pound, I mean,
I like even when there's holding. To me, there's a lot of science in that. I'm the kind of person that can watch, two guys hold each other for the full 3 rounds. Still, I get a lot of it because I really know the subtlety of what it takes to get out of those holds or put someone in one of those holds, and how hard it is to deal with it when you've been put in one of those holds. But I think maybe the average person has trouble necessarily. That's not as action filled for them. It's kind of like a 1-0 baseball game.
Yeah. Well, especially when you have these certain knockout punches that
everyone likes that. That's the home run.
Yeah,
that's the equivalent of a home run in a baseball game, or the 90-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, because in boxing, you do a knockdown and then you got to go to a neutral corner. It's the opposite with MMA. I mean, they just keep pounding on them until finally a ref comes in.
So the ref stops. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
But wouldn't that be a little...
And therein lies the whole Mortal Kombat feel to it. And just like everybody wants to see the car wreck. What do we do? We slow up. We look at it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Boy, can you imagine being how scary that would be actually to be the ref? I mean, you got to really you can't stop it too soon, because then it's boring. Let's say, and if you wait too long, some guy's going to get really hurt.
Well, most of them are former martial artists themselves and MMA competitors, so they're very aware of what it takes to that fine line of making sure that guys don't, and by and large, you don't have, the MMAers. We don't know 30 years from now what things are like, but I think that the MMAers are going to wind up suffering less of the CTE than the boxers do, because sometimes, an MMA guy will work on an ankle or will work on an elbow, but with boxing, it's always shots to the head and to the body. And eventually that does wear you down. The MMAers don't get as many shots to the head. I mean, they do get hit in the head, but it's not like the repeated just pound, 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 pound the head all the time in every fight.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's just, you get them into submission and they tap out.
Yeah, exactly. I think you guys are on point with that.
Yep. Let's see, moving on here. Excuse me, NFL, we're going to bounce around a little bit. Excuse me, the NFL expanding to 17 games. Now, did I read correctly? The Players Association is not so excited about that?
No, they're not excited about that, but the compromise, you get one more game and you get 2 less exhibition games. And so more and more teams are practicing against each other during training camp to kind of get the real feel of an actual scrimmage. You get a lot more out of that than actually playing a practice game just to evaluate.
And we're seeing that the NFL is going to be short of money this last, not relatively for the NFL. Their salary
short of money is going to go up from 10 to $13 billion. Short of money.
But because of COVID, teams did lose money, in the last year, and maybe this year there may not be nearly as big crowds as they need. So they're going to want.
So long as that TV contract money gets pumped in, everybody will be A-okay. The salary cap has gone up. I mean, it's just. I mean, look at these. Look at contract.
We kind of lost you a little bit there. So
he's right in Sausalito. I know exactly where he's at. I always get
you kind of get frozen a little bit there.
Yep. You're right.
The players are going to make the same though, right? Over the 17 games or 16 games, right? They're not going to make any more because they're playing an extra game. Yeah, it's probably the same.
No,
it's got the same.
The contracts are huge. I mean, it's the game check. I mean, what?
Yeah.
bonus money.
Well, like you said, they'll just get less exhibition games, but more in the during the game.
I don't like the idea that there's an uneven number of games. That to me doesn't sit well. It means that there's always going to be,
you get some rest for the bye week, right?
I'd rather see.
Here's the question. Here's the question. How long is it going to be 17 games?
I think they should just move to 18.
Yeah,
and is the Super Bowl
I think eventually it will.
And is the Super Bowl still going to be played? What, the first week of February?
First Sunday in February. Yes.
They're not going to push that off at all.
Well, they might. You push it too far, it will go into the NBA All-Star Week. So that they want to. I mean, I think the NFL would like to get its season over with, and then just pass everything on to the NBA rather than have to compete with them.
All right, guys, going to our first commercial trivia question here. Talking the NBA Finals. This team had never won a conference finals before the 2005-2006 season. Then they found it, won it, and even won the NBA championship in that season. Which team are we talking about? All right, I'm going to read it one more time. This team had never won a conference finals before the 2005-2006 season. Then they found it, won it, and even won the NBA championship in that season. Which team are we talking about? All right, email Edward at sportsecon101.com. See if you know the answer to that question. Stay with us. You are listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back.
Okay.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here along with Brian Glenn and Russell Jackman. All right, NBA Finals. This team had never won a conference finals before the 2000. Holy smokes, we got sirens going.
Yeah. My ride is here. Yeah.
Okay, this team had never won a conference finals before the 2005-2006 season. And then they found it, won it, and even won the NBA championship in that season. Which team were we talking about?
Who is the Miami Heat?
Very good.
Thank you.
I was thinking Dallas for a second. That was 2 years later.
Yeah, they won 2011. All righty. And so Baylor, first time since 1950. Holy smokes. So
well, there was gonna be somebody that came in on this tournament that you hadn't seen in a long time. You knew that was gonna happen.
Right. This tournament more than any other year has been the just roll the dice and let's just see what happens.
Yeah, take your bracket and throw it in the dumpster type.
I wonder, besides Baylor, it's like who's got the longest drought?
UCLA has gone a long time.
Well, not 1950 though.
No, not since 1950, but it was 1995 that they won.
Yeah,
for a major school like UCLA, that is a long time.
Well, and then Houston, you got Phi Slamma Jamma. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that. That was 1984, my senior year in college. I actually covered Houston's game. They beat Virginia 49-47 at the Seattle Kingdom, as I was a little cub reporter for WUVA radio. And that was the last time Houston had been in the Final Four until now.
And then I'm trying to remember because they had Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon, right? And isn't that really NC State?
Ralph had left a year earlier. This year with Olden Polynice, Phil Wilson, Stokes, Rick Carlisle on the team.
Olden Polynice is one of my interesting sports interviews that I did once years ago.
Is that right?
Sacramento. Yes.
Wait,
yes.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Olden Polynice.
That's an interesting name.
Kind of a character, yes. Kind of a funny guy.
How did you interview? What was the circumstance?
Oh, I was with this newsletter called The Bounce, and I was able to interview a number of kings like Lionel Simmons and Olden Polynice and Walt Williams, and we had like a picture on the cover of Walt Williams, and Olden Polynice was making fun of it because it didn't quite look like Walt Williams, and he was like saying, is that Les Jepsen with an afro?
Oh.
No, not quite.
So
So
hey, I want to make a comment here. Okay, so now Kim Mulkey, who is the Baylor women's coach.
She was a great college player in her own right.
Okay. So
Yep.
what do you think about the? Now, obviously, she was upset about the no call on Baylor, for Econ. But what do you think about her saying that she thinks there should be no COVID testing for the final four teams?
Well, I mean, she's a Texan. I mean, come on. I mean, that's I mean, we know where that comes from. I mean, let's not kid anybody here.
I think of more significance is the fact that the Warriors Kings game last week was done with an all-woman broadcasting team. Did you guys listen to any of that?
No, how'd they do?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was, and it was the
so
first.
did I.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first time that had ever been done before, where you had women all in the broadcast booth. There were no men.
For radio, it had been done for TV, but for radio, you're right.
Well, they knew their stuff, so obviously they're not going to get.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're all pros. I mean, it's not like they got out of the car and with a handbook going, how do you do a game? I mean, they all knew what they were doing, and it came together well.
It's funny though. I think what Kim was talking about though was she didn't like the idea that suddenly someone gets tested and then boom, that's it. Their college days are over because it's the Final Four. But then I kind of get
only happened once. It happened to VCU, and that was the only instance.
All right.
And that was in the early rounds. Never happened again. So I mean, I get what she's saying, but hey, in this crazy year, it is what it is.
Yeah,
deal with it.
You got to protect everybody. Let's see, Mr. Garoppolo. Are they talking? Do you think they're just kind of positioning? It's like, no, we're not going to trade him. And then they kind of get all these backup stuff, and then I mean, he's going to get traded, don't you think?
3 is the magic number.
That's been my primary focus for the last 3-4 days. Here's the deal. They're keeping Garoppolo, okay? Whoever they bring in, one of these 4 guys, whatever quarterback they bring in, and they did admit that they are going to get a quarterback, will kind of follow the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes business model,
Okay.
and have this quarterback sit and watch and absorb Kyle Shanahan's system, and then when it's time for Garoppolo to move on, he will then move on. He's got 2 years left on his contract, and so they could just they'll deal him, or he'll go away at some point, but not this year.
And he's not going to be just a backup quarterback. I mean, they will.
The rookie will.
The
sure.
rookie, no, but I mean, it's like where they switch around, and.
There'll be a lot of pressure.
That will only happen if Garoppolo can't get up.
Yeah, or if they're 1-5 after the first 6 games, there's going to be a lot of pressure to put the rookie in, whoever it is. Who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think the Niners are going to draft?
I think. Well, we know Trevor Lawrence will be gone.
Yeah.
Most likely Zach Wilson will be gone. So we're talking about who's left. So it's Trey Lance, it's Justin Fields, or it's Mac Jones. As we record this show, Shanahan and John Lynch from the 49ers, they're on their way to Tuscaloosa right now to attend Mac Jones Pro Day. Happens to be on the same day as Justin Fields, and they'll have representative there. And they said that they were going to work out Justin Fields individually at a later date. But they got a whole month seemingly to kind of figure it out on exactly what they do, and they're glad they have the time to do it.
I thought it was interesting in the sense that Shanahan and Lynch were ridiculed when they went to the Zach Thomas practice, because at that time the Niners only had the number 12 pick, and everyone was like saying, "Why are you attending a practice on someone you clearly have no ability to draft?" And the day after that they attended the draft, that's when they got the number 3 pick. So I thought that was really interesting.
But also, what about just trades? Maybe they can't get him in the original draft, but they look at all the potential trades they could make.
Well, and they're still in play, Deshaun Watson. That the Niners could draft somebody and then use that to trade for Watson or give the pick away to. Well, you're saying no.
Not happening.
No.
Not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening. Deshaun Watson too toxic now.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Well, he wants to go
if Deshaun Watson is playing, he will play for the Houston Texans, and that's that.
Yeah,
I'm still saying he winds up in Seattle. I'm going to take the wild card on that.
And where's Russell Wilson going?
To Houston. I think those guys are going to swap.
I don't know. I thought Deshaun wants to play at the Miami, doesn't he?
Well, he won't have a choice.
Well, that's not going to happen. Miami has put all their cards in on Tagovailoa. I mean, he's the guy now.
If he gets traded, he doesn't have that much of a choice in that sense.
I mean, so what's going on with Deshaun? I mean, he's got, 19 now? Who knows how many more?
I think it's in the 20s now. I think over 20 women now have come forward.
I mean, suddenly there's all these people, shoot. Probably women who have never even met him are probably going to sign up for it too.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It gets to be.
I'm sure Governor Cuomo's going, well, at least he's over 20. I'm not quite there yet.
How many is Cuomo up to now? 6?
I think is it almost double digits for him?
I don't know.
I
don't know. And then it's like I mean, people delete tweets all the time, and they're getting on him for deleting his tweets, and I don't know.
Yeah, which can't really be deleted. Once it's out there, it's out there.
It's out there.
Yeah. But I think the city of Seattle wouldn't care. I think that the fans of Seattle wouldn't care if they knew that they were getting a young up-and-coming quarterback. And there's, nobody is really – I mean, the elephant in the room has been Russell Wilson not being happy with the way that Seattle has treated him, and that, that relationship still doesn't seem to be one that I think they're going to get 16 games out of.
Also, is Deshaun going to be subject to any criminal thing, or is it all civil?
Well, we don't know.
Yeah,
right. I mean, why are you gonna bring in a guy that's the face of your franchise with all that hanging over you? I mean, look at the corporate. Would that ever happen in the corporate world? I don't think so.
Not too much.
Yeah,
not too much. Okay, guys. Second trivia question here: who was the first team, or which was the first team to lose 3 consecutive NBA championships? Now, this you do have to go back in time. Okay, this is not the 90s or the 80s or even the 70s. Okay, all right. Which team was the first team to lose 3 consecutive NBA championships? That's our trivia question. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. Our second trivia question: which was the first team to lose 3 consecutive NBA championships?
I'll go with the Lakers.
That's what I would have thought, but that's not correct.
I'll go with the New York Knicks.
Bingo. That is correct. 1951 to 53. Very good.
Thank you.
Did it help that I said that they had been in that they were still around?
Not me.
It helped that you picked the era, and then so you had to think of the teams that are around in the era that were prominent, and I just thought of the New York Knicks.
Yeah, I don't know. What were there? 8 teams back then? There weren't that many teams.
No, there weren't. No, there weren't. And the Lakers were still in Minneapolis.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What do you guys want to cover? Any baseball or any of the football?
Well, yeah. I mean, by the time this show airs, the regular season will be in full swing with opening day or opening night in the case of the Oakland A's, and there's all kinds of storylines that are out there. I mean, there's going to be a team that comes out of nowhere. There's going to be there's going to be pressure on the Dodgers and the Yankees and even the Mets to get out and start quickly.
And some prognosticators are saying that Oakland might be a good contender this year.
Oakland's always strong. I mean, they keep winning divisions. It's just the rest of the way that's been kind of dicey for them.
Yeah.
But people want to knock the Oakland A's because they have the small market mentality. and they really, they really tightened the budget, even though the owner John Fisher has, you know, Fort Knox money times 10. But hey, that's just kind of the way they roll, and they keep making a profit. He bought the Oakland A's, I believe, for $180 million,
That's
and
all.
still, that team is worth $1.1 billion.
Wow.
So with appreciation and this, that, and the other, as a businessman, that's a pretty nice little toy to have.
How long ago did he buy him? From the Haas family, probably, right?
But yeah, he would have bought him from the Haas family. So that would have been early to mid 1990s.
Oh, okay, that long ago, 20 years ago. Okay.
I still think the A's would do better off if they moved to Sacramento, to be honest with you. I think Sacramento would really embrace the A's. They would get a much larger crowd. They'd probably get the same kind of TV revenues that they're getting from Oakland right now. And unless Oakland is willing to build them a better park, I don't see why they would stay there forever.
Also,
you might get a hold on there, young fella, from the Sacramento River Cats. They got a pretty good thing going over there at Raleigh Stadium. But I feel bad for Sacramento. Yeah, you're right. The state capital, they deserve more than one major professional team. It's just that it's so close to the San Francisco Bay Area.
Well, that's why the A's would be a good move. That's why the A's would be a good move. The fans of the A's could still easily go to Sacramento, A's games, and it would give them a fresh start. They get a new stadium built for them, and they generate more than 10,000 people per game. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, that they would if they had an indoor stadium, because Sacramento gets very, very hot in the summer.
People go to
but then how do you feel if you're a true blue Oakland A's fan and you see that happen? Oh, we lose another team.
One of the 8,000, I think they could handle it. Unfortunately, when you talk about true blue A's fans, they just don't show up.
It's like the Tampa Bay, the Rays. Sometimes they have like 1,200 people show up. It's just ridiculous.
Well, it didn't stop them from making the World Series last season.
Oh, they did well. Do you think the Astros, a lot of people are going to sort of forgive and forget the scandal?
You kind of have to at this stage, because a lot of the players that were part of that scandal aren't even on the team anymore.
That's true.
That's a good point. Yeah. And
they got rid of the management and all that stuff. And then I hate to say it, but Houston really benefited from COVID-19, because people would have been all on the warpath that entire season for Houston. But I think we all just, with COVID-19, it sort of left our consciousness, and we were all focused on bigger issues, and we kind of pushed that to the side and didn't really pay much attention to it.
Even the manager of the team that time has come out of, quote, timeout, close quote, and is the manager of the Detroit Tigers, A.J. Hinch.
Yeah.
And we know that it won't happen again. For those things to happen again, especially with Houston, Houston will never do it again. Some other team may try, but I'm sure Houston has learned its lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows what they're going to come up. They'll come up with some other kind of cheating. Everybody always kind of wants to get that extra little edge. And, just like steroids, it doesn't seem to stop them, right? It's like, okay, well, I made my $200 million because I hit, 400 home runs.
It is amazing to me when you look back on it, that how blatant some of the cheating really was. That there's, videos of guys like grabbing their ear and like trying to adjust things that they have, on their uniforms that seem like there's some kind of mic or some kind of transmission device. So, and then of course, there's all the banging that goes on and that sort of thing. So all that's going to be much greater inspection, and they're going to, be much closer attention to that sort of thing. So
all right, change the rules, and the pitcher has to tell the batter ahead of time what pitch he's going to throw. Then you don't have to worry about it. Okay, here comes a curveball. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kickball, where you say slow and medium
Yeah, that's right.
bouncy.
Yeah.
If you remember the kickball days.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool if you had on the jumbotron the pitch that's coming.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
That'd be the old Will Clark, Matt Williams, and he read it.
Well, computerized umps might help on all that. Be able to say, like, pitcher, you got an 80% chance of pitching a slider here, or your change.
Or better yet, have a computer come up with the projected next pitch.
That's what I'm saying. Knowing that the pitcher
really
in this scenario will always, looking at his background, he throws change-ups like in all of these things.
But you still, and then the big problem though is you still have to have the human throw the ball, and like the backdoor slider might not slide.
Right, exactly. Yep. You got to account for the human error.
Well, now the other thing to do is just have a pitcher, a computerized pitcher. You just put the ball in there and you just say, okay, throw a curve.
That's called the home run derby.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Right.
Well, actually, those are.
Can you imagine you got a machine up there and you just press 1 for curveball, 2 for fastball, 3 for breaking ball. Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
And then
you have your computerized designated hitter.
And 5 for beanball. Because you always have to be watchful of that one that beanball that comes. Yeah, but
do you guys like the fact that they're taking away the designated hitter rule for the National League again this year? They're going to take it away.
Yeah.
Except in AL parks.
Yeah. I mean, but then are they still going to do for the World Series, whichever?
Yeah, it'll be.
Whichever ballpark,
whichever
they'll do that. Yeah, they'll do that.
That's fair.
I'm glad they didn't make the designated hitter universal for both leagues. I still love the National League for the non-designated hitter, the pinch hitter rule. I still think it's a huge part of baseball strategy that I don't want to see getting rid of.
You got to teach your pitchers to hit, or at least bunt.
Well, you make the strategic choice between offense and defense.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've always thought that was a huge, it really makes managers have to work instead of just putting one guy in, just, set it and forget it with your designated hitter role, basically.
And,
Mr. Jackman, what are your thoughts on the shift? If you had a chance to get rid of it, would you?
No, because I think that it's up to hitters to be able to take advantage of the shift. I mean, you've got to learn positional hitting, and you've got to know that if everybody is standing on the right side of the field, hit it to the left side.
Exactly.
If
you want to throw everybody into left field, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Take your chances. Are they going to still do the? Was it last year that they instituted, putting a guy on second base? Was it extra innings?
For extra innings. I didn't like that at all. That was not.
I think they
did that. Rather they did last year, right? I don't know.
Yeah, they did for the extra inning games.
I mean, it kind of makes it. I mean, yeah, for guys who don't mind watching baseball for 16, 17 innings, okay, they don't like that. But those who just say, "Come on, I want to get the game." I want to see who's going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should put the runner on first. I don't like having a runner in scoring position automatically. I think that makes it too easy. I mean, what you really need to do is just then bunt a guy, and move the guy to third, and then a sacrifice fly will get you a run.
Or just a base hit might do it.
But just a sacrifice will get you the one.
No, if the guy's on second and you just get a decent base hit, you
right. But I mean, you don't even have to. You don't even have to get a hit. You can do a bunt to move the guy over to third, and then you can get a long fly ball, and you'll get a run in.
Well, how many times though can guys not get the bunt down?
Something guys need to relearn.
Hey, man, you got to work on it. Yeah.
The bunt is like people not being able to hit on a switch. I just don't understand why the discipline isn't there for guys to know how to do it. I mean, bunting and stealing are two things that are just a non-factor in today's baseball games, which are still really important. I mean, when I look back at the Giants from 2010 and how they won so much with small ball, they scored a number of runs those years, but they did it all by, loading the bases up or getting runners at second and third and getting that critical hit in. which I thought was super exciting.
Yeah, that's just the problem of people just in love with the long ball. Just like people in the old, I want to say old basketball days, there were a lot of cuts to the basket and ball screens and stuff like that, kind of the Princeton offense. And now in the age of Steph Curry, it's all about the 3-pointer, who can hit the three, who can hit the longest three.
Yeah.
Game's changed.
Well, in that case, though, you get 3 points for that. So there is a big incentive you only have to hit, a third of the shots to get the same equivalent of 50% on a 2-pointer. So I kind of get that. What do they say? You can't teach speed, though, right? On the basis.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, I like that when they have. I like stealing.
I liked it when there was more stealing and that you really had to keep pitchers honest and you couldn't just ignore guys when they were on base.
Exactly. I do like the long ball, but we like the exciting part of it. Hey guys,
Chicks dig the long ball.
I dig it too. Okay, here we go. Here's our third trivia question. We're talking the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics ran off 8 consecutive NBA championships until which team stopped their streak? I'm not going to give you the year yet. I'll see if you guys can figure it out just based on that question. All right. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question. Talking the NBA Finals here. History. The Boston Celtics ran off 8 consecutive NBA championships until which team stopped their streak? All right. You are listening to Sports Econ 101. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be back with some closing thoughts and comments. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Russell Jackman. The Boston Celtics ran off 8 consecutive NBA championships until which team stopped their streak?
I'm going to go with Milwaukee. I'm going to go with Milwaukee.
I'm going to go. Boy.
You want the year?
I'm gonna go with yeah. Give us the year.
1966-67. Not sure if that really helps.
Which was Jim Barnett's first year with the Celtics.
Oh.
Yeah, the Celtics had run the table. He joins the team, and then they lose.
Yeah.
Oof!
Wow. After he wants to be reminded of that.
3, 2.
I'll go Lakers.
No, 76ers.
The 76ers, of course. Okay.
See, I forgot they were even in the league at that point.
Yeah, they were. That's that's right.
It's post-Warrior, post-Philadelphia Warriors.
Correct. Okay, you guys ready? Here's our thoughts for the day. When everything seems to go against you, remember that an airplane takes off against the wind, not with it, said Henry Ford. That was pretty good.
Okay.
You should have built more airplanes.
Yeah, that's true. And a man who runs behind a car will get exhausted, but a man who runs in front of a car will get tired.
Oh, okay, that one even made me groan, and I've heard a lot of groaners from you.
All right.
I like that one. All right, guys, tune in next week, audience. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We'll be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and also asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Adios, America.
So long.
Good night, America.
And who is your prediction that's going to win the NCAA tournament before you go?
Gonzaga.
I'm going Gonzaga.
Yeah.
I want UCLA. I want the Bruins to win.
Well, I know you want them to win, but who will win?
It probably is Gonzaga, but I'm going Bruins. Go Bruins.
All right.
Well, hopefully by the time this show airs, you have validation.
There you
we'll
go.
see.
All right. Good night, America.